Like I was mentioning to one of my loved ones, the tests are being escalated, isn't it? Minds and hearts and people who are living at this time and age understand what I mean, as they carry the burden of unresolved issues, frustration, pretending to somewhat have a life, and they're living. Mostly I'm talking about the mind work. If one understands that they are on a journey to some kind of a destination, I guess, right? And there are stops on the way, and wherever we are at, that's the place we need to be. An absolute requirement of surrender, understanding, and continuing the journey. The concept of giving up or not wanting to do this or that is a myth, because those kind of thoughts are meaningless and just an obstacle to our moving on. We can stagnate for a while in those miserable thoughts and feelings, but there will come a time when we'll just rise up and move on, isn't it? The spirit of life is very powerful. Thinking about death, usually when a body is very challenging, is useless, because these memories of us going through a challenge and coming out of it, or surviving miraculously through an impossible situation of pain and suffering, keeps us going. Those who are on this path of individual work within will understand. And as we move, doing our best to keep up with the cadence and rhythm of this beautiful journey, we understand more and more, and we realize that we are at a different level or a different place, and things have changed. We have changed. The experience of being secluded, being in solitude, creates a space where one finds serenity and is in tune with the virtues that they have used to cope with the situation or to move on. Virtues like fortitude, forbearance, and reaching towards a freedom from that particular experience. Life will live through the body and leave when it is time. When we realize we are really not in control of anything, then we can backtrack and apply it to all the times when the mind is thinking it should do something, should act on something or react. Basically, we are growing up, becoming mature. In all these challenges, extremely difficult, extremely challenging. One really cannot run away from it. We can do it a couple of times, but not all the time. When it is time for us to be in a different state of mind, then we will get there just naturally, organically. There's no going back, there's only moving forward. I was sitting in a beautiful garden. These thoughts are very beautiful, and these words are gathered and formed even through a cluttered mind, or like I said, everything around is challenging. I was sitting in this garden, it's very beautiful, to get some fresh air, thinking it will do some good through my body, because by now I have shared it many times about supernatural experiences my body has been going through, and it's become a pattern. Sometimes very unreasonable and hard to understand pain in the body, and somehow you move through it and you're up, alive and about after it's passed its course of time, naturally, organically. So I was sitting in the garden, and if you sit there for like maybe 2 hours, I think one can get peace for 10 minutes maybe, because there are people around breaking rules, not maintaining silence, talking on the phone, whatever, all the other distractions, noisy pigeons, jumping monkeys, scared squirrels or chipmunks, I guess it's called. So in my attempt to think of memories that will give me solace and peace, these thoughts started to gather in my mind and take shape and form so beautifully. I started to feel strong again, kind of disconnected from my body and just going with the flow. And I was thinking, even if we consciously think of memories, most memories are experiences that happened in the past, but they're also filled with bad memories, experiences that didn't feel good, or that is filled with embarrassment and shame and regret. It's work. So one tries to pray, to be in tune with the highest part of oneself, which is God, goodness. It is actually fascinating. It's a science. It regenerates the body. Even if there are these mosquitoes around, it's just out of control. So I'm sitting there shooing away these mosquitoes that are just there waiting, and every time I was in a space in my mind thinking high thoughts, this injection like pricks from the mosquitoes. And I'm thinking, wow, I'm just shooing it away, but can I just not exist for them? I said, we don't exist, but they're just going, they're also naturally doing what they're supposed to do in their little bodies, right? Even getting angry with the pigeons is kind of fading out, because that's what they do. They come and the energy is there and they want to get it over with. And we shoo them away and stop it in between. They keep coming back for the unfinished job. But I did see these two sweet pigeons in that crowd of nasty, noisy group of pigeons all the time. The feather sounds and just relentless and restless. And I see these two pigeons just so sweetly just being with each other, occasionally grooming and occasionally connecting their beaks, creating this beautiful form of love. It was sweet. You see, in every kind of creation, there are these little peaceful saints that also just exist amidst the chaos. And we can apply that to us human beings also, isn't it? If you choose to want to overcome chaos, noise, disturbance, violence, one can choose to overcome it and get over it, get it over with. I mentioned these little experiences in the body just so it can be inspiring to someone who's going through, is it better or worse than what I'm going through? You know? So just rise up above it. Find what is good and meaningful inside and put together as thoughts. They're powerful. It creates an energy of absolute strength and beautiful love that you feel you can face anything, right? There's no fear, and you can feel light. So The goal, or at least with me, is to be in tune with those beautiful thoughts. And you can imagine it to be a presence of God or love or goodness. It's very beautiful. Even if one word or whichever language you're thinking in your own, however you think in your mind, due to circumstances in my personal life with whom I am with, it's manifesting in English. And I was thinking, wow, Lord, this burden of memories that we carry, especially womankind, it just goes on and on and on, keeps coming in rounds. And even if you think you have mastered it, you overcome again, it comes back, hits you, makes you feel very low. Isn't it this burden of memories? So one day I thought I will just collect good memories. I will just keep thinking of the good memories. And I will also attempt to collect good memories if I can. Continuing in this journey, like I said, if you choose to continue, you have to. There's no other, you can't get off a fast moving train, right? You bought a ticket and you're on a seat, and you're gonna be on that seat until you reach your destination. Isn't it? And that is how I try. This is just my way. One needs to be creative. You can do it your own way. Anyone can. But really, being in the world full of distractions and disturbances, one cannot keep trying to. Of course, you can do the work to choose what's good out there in the world and collect it and keep it. It's very difficult though, because it's full of junk and nonsense and noise most of the time. So we can't pretend. One has to be very, very honest in this path. Honesty is the best policy, right? So instead of choosing some distraction from the world, you go inward and you choose to think about these good memories that made you feel good at some point or the other. Experiences, people that were good. And I was praying, I just hope that all this burden of the past memories will just fall away, and I would just stop thinking about it. I think about all these past experiences. It gets so heavy. Again and again and again we think about it. Why? How can I be perfect? How can I be in the same tune? How can I, even though it's a narrow path, how can I be on that narrow path perfectly without losing my balance? It's a goal, right? You move an inch here or there and you're distracted or you're disturbed, or you fall and you're out of balance, and then you have to start the work all over again. Why? And these beautiful words came. You think before you know, and you act before your time. Think about it. We think before we know. Before we know the truth of what that person really is thinking or what has happened, we tend to think something has happened, or mostly it comes from basic instincts of fear and wanting to protect yourself. It's immaturity. It's a kind of selfishness. And it's a kind of ignorance. Isn't it? We think before we know the truth. And we start to imagine, oh, maybe this has happened, oh, that has happened, oh, this has happened. And then that kind of thinking creates this energy of fear, and then when it gets really strong, we really believe in it, and there's no space to act any other way but to let this energy just push you around and move through you, and then act on it or react to it. Everybody knows what I'm talking about, whether it is through a phone, whether it is through person to person communication. There's no space to even see if we can resolve it or make it better, isn't it? I've done it many times. I'm like, wow, word. That is when you are not in tune. When that happens, you're totally not in tune. You run away, you take yourself with that energy and you try to dissipate it. You try to be with it because it's already happened. Cannot go back on it. Whatever decision we made with anger or believing that this is what I need to do because this has happened. I'm telling you, sometimes we are so wrong about it. We have to wait in the space. We have to wait for the truth to manifest itself in whichever way, whether we like it or not, whether it is painful or not. People have a lot of fear. Nobody wants pain. Everybody wants comfort. Everybody wants to feel good. But we cannot force it. For some reason, we are on this path and we have to go through what we need to go through to get to a place we need to be. Acceptance and surrender is very, very important. And we cannot do this on our own. We don't have many friends on this topic. Everybody would call it crazy or just not interested. I would rather go watch a video on YouTube, right? You think before you know, and we act before it is time. We make a decision. And then we have to go with it. There's no going back until we get the next round to play properly. I had a slight reaction yesterday in the canteen because there was so much crowd and it was just a very chaotic space I was in, and I guess I had reached my max, and I reacted because they were asking me to do something so ridiculous. And it's like that. The world is not perfect. It is very difficult to be righteous and good in a world full of mistakes and unrighteous people around. There's no end to finding faults or what wrong is happening around us. There's no end to it. It's everywhere. It's in everyone. So everyone has to think about doing the work, inside of themselves. So I said a little sorry, today I did my work, whatever they wanted me to do. But I also thought whatever I was thinking that they should organize the crowd a little better, they did that today. It was good. It changed. It's hard to explain unless you experience it. Experiences are very good. No one needs to be afraid. That is how we collect our virtues. We pile it up. Like he had told us, upon this pillar I will build my church. No matter how many times it breaks down, how many times people around crash it down, keeps rising up. Even in mundane things like the body, so many times thought this is it, I'm gonna die and it's unbearable, but I come out of it somehow. And it's not me doing it. It's fascinating to just watch this body just come alive over and over again. Even the mind, for it to get to a very deep and low spot and then keep rising up with, strength and goodness, beautiful thoughts. It's possible. Anyway, we're gonna continue this journey and keep building. Work with him now. So I was talking to God, which I felt has been with me as a spirit my entire life. I have been around a lot of saints and gurus. I've been exposed to many such so-called spiritual existence, but I have never felt part of it or one with it. And many of them who I have had close encounters with have always said, you don't need us, you have God with you. And it's true. And all those are just experiences again. You never get stuck in any of those. You just keep flying like a river. It is kind of simplest way of eliminating and then eliminating the self. Eliminating even those things that you feel is spiritual or good, whatever it is. Rarest and highest form of being one together in His presence. Feeling that, feeling one in that space just feels so good, isn't it? Being in the same page as somebody, it feels good, isn't it? So I said today, I think it's time, Lord. It's enough. Enough wait. I was connecting with everyone who is on the same page, suffering, just waiting to get out of jail, or what I mean is not literally a jail, but this prison of this life and living and challenges. And I said, it's time you trust me, Lord. Stop testing me. Let's move on with the process. I'm sure he had a little chuckle, a smile. Because usually because we are in this human body, which is actually just like any other created being on this earth, animating its purpose in life, right? It's the same kind of an animal, not in a bad way, but it's just in a form of an energy that needs to do this and that, cover its body, things like that, And it's natural to have that low feeling, the base energy. So I felt like this puny little thing in the body is challenging God's big ego, saying, okay, Lord, I know I want to be there. I've always chosen you. I'm going to go higher. High or low, doesn't matter. No matter what you do in life, you can carry that presence of God. Even if a small thing like eating ice cream can become the most joyful spiritual experience. in your life. So maybe no high, no low, just a balanced state where you're totally in tune. You're not thinking before we know, you're being in this space like a good girl, like a good boy, waiting to know the truth. Then we'll see what can happen at the right time. And having that control, do not act before it is your time. Doing things slow and nice and actually creates this time and space. Like I was thinking I want to do this every day. I just want to sit with this. This is my church. This is my calling. But again, we cannot confine such things into the world's timing. And of course, if it's formal and professional, we can accommodate it, but even that's not necessary. So it can accumulate, this energy can accumulate as thoughts for a few days, and then it comes out, bursts out like this as an expression of a sound. So it's not every day, it's every once a week. It's not like that. Cannot confine it. It's just a natural flowing energy like a river. And when it is time, it naturally happens. I just push record and I start recording. So I hope I have done justice for today. And I pray that even if this doesn't reach people through gadgets or practically, these have come through us and to us and filled us with joy and the strength to cope and to overcome all the challenges that He has created in our lives in order to make us into the same very being from which we came, His own reflection. And when we realize that, He's very happy. Then there's no more tests, there's no more. You're totally in tune and everything happens. Even through challenges, even through your pain, you have the strength to obey. Just get up and go do it. And you're walking on the path and you see His signs, you meet the right people, and beautiful things happen. This other thing that is weighing us down, these memories and this burden of pain and all that is in the background. Not really in tune with that or giving it any energy. No parallel line, it's not meeting. It came out, it exists. So that's enough. Radiating pure form of love and confidence and beautiful attitude to move on with life. Search and find all the good things in life and within yourself. Share it if you can, or carry it with grace and dignity until we reach where we need to be. Your time starts now. It's about transformation, change. It's important. Human effort and divine grace can perform miracles. And as the goodness rises, and connects with all those who are doing the work, it just gets stronger and stronger. It gets very, very strong. If you're fighting, you fight without fighting. Use non-verbal positive energies against non-verbal negative energies. Use verbal word of goodness against verbal abuse. It's very simple. Choose the change. It's good. This is the only way in the future that is going to bring peace and happiness and joy that everyone within seeks. Change is good. Look within, find the answers and teachings. Watch yourself, accept what is not good. Pray and find the strength to change it. It can happen. It happened to me, it can happen to anyone. Choosing peace and wanting to be in an environment of goodness feels good. So first step is to choose it and then act on it. I pray and hope all are in this journey and find the ultimate goodness within, radiate it, spread it, inspire, and bring the peace beginning with themselves and then in the family. It's important to have a peaceful environment in a family, especially where children are growing up. A balance between a father and a mother, man and woman, can bless the children of this earth instead of making them into monsters. Overcome fear of insult and offense and do the work. I need to say something. I need to say a lot of things. I'm probably going to be categorized as a crazy woman talking to herself. But I'm above and beyond all that. Even if the truth speaks, it seems to be buried in piles and piles of lies. And even if the truth is seen, it is blurred and hidden amongst clouds and clouds of fog and delusion. I'll get to it in a minute why I'm saying this. Certain things happened this morning. Wasn't feeling very good, but I tried to pull myself up and do the right thing. When a woman is alone and trying to do her best to give the respect to her body, feed it and take care. It's hard sometimes to judge and do the right thing. Anyway, I seem to have pulled myself up and go out and go to the canteen to eat something. And I was a little doubtful whether I would be able to make it. I had this thought that I'll just buy some idlis from the nearby hotel and come back home. But that little bit of money saving attitude I had, I thought if I want to get full points and be perfect, I'll have to use my coupons to eat in the canteen. So far so good. I go out, and on the way up to the main road there is a very steep hill, uphill and downhill. So it's a challenge every time to climb up, especially when you're not feeling good. I take my time, I go slow. Today I was feeling a little dizzy. It's probably due to the blood loss that I'm experiencing. And I met this other lady who apparently is a saint and wears orange sari and friendly. And she pushes her wheelchair. She uses the wheelchair as a support to climb up that uphill. She's like 84 years old. So I say hi to her and I say, we shall overcome, we shall overcome. And I made her laugh, and she was like, if we can overcome just this uphill, then we're there. That was funny, and I get a little boost, and I make it. I made it to the ashram, but after I reached there, I couldn't be 100%. I was feeling very dizzy. I sat in a couple of places, and by the time I reached the canteen, I was completely feeling dizzy, and I couldn't see anything. Everything was blur. My mind was awake, and I'm still thinking poignantly, and by that time there's this whole bunch of people who come, stands in the line, and now I'm like, I just can't make it to the canteen. So I just sit there on a bench, and there was these two ladies sitting next to me. They're supposed to be seva. They're supposed to help people, wear scarves and do free seva, free service to the activities going on in the premises. And I told them, I'm feeling dizzy. I can't see anything, and I'm not feeling good. Can you please get me a little water? And she says, go there and drink. I'm like, wow. I guess they couldn't see what I was going through or even believe what I was saying. I said, okay, that's not possible to go and drink water. And I said, okay, seems like if I walk, I'm going to faint. Can you help me? No, can you? There's a hospital nearby. Maybe I should just go to the hospital. So they didn't seem to budge at all to help, and I was like, what am I going to do now? So I again pull myself up, and I just walk a couple of steps near, just outside the gate, and there's another man, Sevadal. I say, I'm feeling really dizzy, I want to go home. Can you bring an auto? He says, yes, I will. And then he starts chatting with somebody else, and I'm also looking out for an auto. And again, there was no connection to a person being in need urgently. So I get up, and I myself see the auto. I catch him, and I get on it, and then this guy comes and says, no, I was gonna get you an auto. I was gonna do that. I've experienced that many times, where you're depending on somebody to do something for you, but they're nowhere around, or they're distracted, or they're just doing something else. It's crazy. I'm sitting in the auto now. He hands out one grape through his hand into the auto. I could hardly see anything. By now I was just maxed out. And I come home and I'm reflecting on all this. That's why this talk came. I could not accept that sweet gesture of him giving me one grape. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what to feel or to think at that time. I ignored it, and because he didn't even help me to get an auto, I guess I was offended. I didn't react. I was just in this numb state of mind, and I come back home and the building lady who helps in the building was there. Poor thing, she came up with me and gave the money to the auto guy. He was gone, and then she brought me some idlis in the same hotel which I thought I was going to get in the first place. So I should have just listened to that voice. See, there's so many voices that goes on in the mind, and it's really hard to tell which one should I listen to, which one is better, which one is right. And he's showing me again and again and again that my husband's here, but he's not living with me. So yesterday he was supposed to come get me some things, and he postponed because of he has his own reasons. He's got his own life going on there, and he didn't come. I didn't have anything to eat in the house. So again, there is this relation with people. Even your own people is not available to do what needs to be done. It's really sad. People are supposed to help or not helping. It's because there's so much deception going on in the world that one little puny little truth that's squeaking from reality and authentic honesty is not heard or seen, and it hurts. And you feel all alone in this drama or in this path you're in. People don't understand. They misunderstand that no, everybody is making up shit. Everybody is lying about their diseases. Everybody is pretending just to get something out of somebody else. But that's not me. I know how to take care of myself. I know when to tell what the truth is. Even this talk I'm giving right now will probably be buried somewhere, somehow, without anyone ever hearing the truth or seeing the truth. I'm grateful for today, though. I have had some food and I'm here. I'm still alive, and I'm gonna push through the day. Even going to a hospital seems ridiculous, because they do what they do, and then I have to come back to this state eventually. It doesn't seem that easy to just say, Lord, is this the end? Can I come home now? We have tried enough. We have waited enough. We have pushed enough. We have said enough. And I wrote down yesterday, the truth is, I have been touched by God. I have heard His voice. I have seen His face. And I have received His grace many, many, many times. And that is the truth. And it's enough for me. Don't need anything else. I'm loved by God. I've seen His face and heard His voice. I'm touched by His grace. What more do I need? I felt it very strongly yesterday. That's why I wrote it down. Because I thought I was very successful going out and eating and coming back because my husband didn't show up yesterday. Even though he had promised he would come. So I've sent him a message again today to come see me. I don't know. It's difficult. It's hard for the body to fathom what's going on at a different level. I'm probably talking in the spirit right now. I have done this many times. I don't feel connected with the struggling and ailing body. And people tend to ridicule it or underestimate it or think what they want to think, that I'm making it up or it's too much or it's too intense. But it doesn't matter. One needs to know the truth of what's going on within for themselves. And all the opportunities you get to serve and help people. And after I ate and I'm here in bed just resting, I was thinking, what was all that about? That man just giving me one grape, what was all that about? And I felt so bad that I didn't receive it, I didn't take it at that time. And I feel so sorry. Maybe that was God reaching out. Even through the fog and even through the mistake, he didn't really bring it out, or he was distracted, but he tried to make it up probably by giving me one grape of a blessing. And I chose not to accept it, and I felt bad about it. Was it the healing grape for today? I don't know. Man, it's so tough in all these scrambled pieces of puzzle to figure out what's the right thing to do and what's not. As he puts all these pieces back together into perfection, pieces made perfect, as we say. It's really difficult when you're lost and completely being drained and dragged down in this challenging situations. And again, my heart goes out to everyone out there who is feeling bad about not getting help or feeling pathetic and struggling, not knowing what to do. I send my love to them because he knows and he is watching. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. As long as we're alive, we live, and be grateful for the air we breathe. And remember all the good memories we've had, all the blessings we've had, all the times we were touched by God. Because like I said, I'm at a stage where it's not like giving up, it's just a realization. What more do I have to wait for now? People have had their chances to change the situations, families to come together, love, be there for each other. Our own people don't do anything, then how can you expect somebody else to be in a state of mind to really understand what's going on? Like someone said, it doesn't look like from outside that you're sick. I said, I'll take that as a compliment, because really, I'll just talk about myself, would show how I really feel from inside, it would explode. And I really don't like showing my weakness or pain outside, because that affects other people, obviously. So I do my best to carry myself with as much grace and dignity as possible. I hope I receive at least that, to leave with dignity. No, we'll see what happens. There's still some story being cooked and being played out. So again, my prayers are going out for all those who are suffering. Free us, my Lord, free us. In whatever way, either bring the change in the minds and hearts to live your love, bring the new age, new beginning, or take us home. I want to come home. I want to come home, my Lord. I've been thinking a lot about this topic today. It's been building up and bubbling, and now I just thought I will record it as how I understand what's happening. It's very difficult, to translate and transcript these energies that is moving through a person. Assuming that a person has done some work to elevate their souls, to soothe their pain and whatever they're going through in their life, and they're awake and aware, and some kind of a relationship is going on with prayer and God, and all these effort they put in to make things better in their lives, right? Basically, in my understanding, of what has happened, transformed and transcribed in myself, is what I'm trying to share here. It's my experience, so it's my story, and it's my truth. So it is personal, yes, and it is safe to share it, and hopefully it's inspiring. Because the urge to share it and hope that somebody else might also be going through the same thing and it can help them. It's like doing God's work. There is no intention behind it, or there is no profit-minded attitude. It is a love-based energy that is intending to share and transfer this love to anyone who's open to receiving and listening. Okay, so I was thinking of a spirit and matter. Body is the matter. Spirit is something that is life within, isn't it? We think, we do things. Like I said, if one has done the work to be aware and watch it, then it's a different path one is walking compared to those who are just drifting with energies pushing them around, or somebody else telling them what to do, or there is no concept of work that's happening within. It's not known to them. Of course, this is open for anyone to take the first step and begin. So, I might be wrong in my mind's perception of what has happened, but it is an attempt to understand. The search continues. One can never say I'm already there, or it's all taken care of. It's an ongoing process. Sometimes one thinks that it's changed and we're better, and then the next day we find ourselves in the same old place, and then we have to start the work all over again. It's difficult because there is some kind of a transition going on, see, to this new kind of world that we're all hoping we're going into. To have a good life, to have good people around, to feel better, to live in joy, and all these wonderful things, which is boring and not interesting to some. But again, like I said, it is an attempt to share with an intention of love. As I reached my middle age, see, what was happening was there has been a concept of a spirit within me from my childhood that I connected with, and I guess I was unintentionally or unknowingly, like a child growing up, talking to it, living with it, or him or her, whatever. There is no gender to it. It is a spirit, and it is the same in everybody. That is why when we connect with someone in the same spirit, you feel like you know that person, and there is some kind of a spark, and then some relationship happens and some animation of experiences. But I'll be honest, as a person, as a human being, that seems separate from the spirit. So it's like two people living inside you. I wouldn't say inside my body, because that's what we're separating. That's what we're separating from this concept of what's living inside spirit. What is it that is making you feel, making you think, making you decide, make a choice, have emotions? So I'll be honest, as a human being, I didn't have the depth. I always wanted to be a good girl, I wanted to get a good name. But I grew up in a family. Again, I think I'm being used here as an example, as a testimony to what this has become, this whole thing. Long story short, my life has been a miracle. Like I said, when I started to experience certain things in my middle age, I went through some extremely supernatural experiences, and it was mind blowing. And to find a balance and to just ride with it was extremely difficult. Every day you think you're gonna die, and then you resurrect and you come back. How did that happen? In all this attempt to renew oneself, all this the effort to transform oneself was happening automatically. It's a new thing, I don't think it existed before. It's a new kind of self-therapy, because as a human being, all I remember growing up was being hated all the time and known for to make others uncomfortable with my presence. And then that turned into a long lasting bitterness and anger and hurt and offense, and you name it. But I didn't really know or was conscious about that in the human being. Of course, I had a parallel line relationship with God, because my family was kind of spiritual and ritualistic, I should say. I don't know if it was spiritual, but I put up with it. I kind of coped with it because it's my duty and I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But slowly later in my life, all that just fell away, and it kind of deviated into focusing on other things. Those things really didn't mean anything or didn't matter anymore. So coming back to the spirit, the strong presence of God was felt in the pain and the suffering. Like I said, all the supernatural experiences I was going through in the body, which is the matter. And through that pain and the suffering, there was a high level of relationship with this entity called God or spirit within, and nothing really happened to the body. It just seemed to just do its course and then come back normal. And then the next thing started, and that healed, and then the next thing, like that. It just went on and on and on. I think a little bit of the residue is still left, but I feel much better now. So I thought this is a perfect space that I am in to share from where I am, reflecting on it. I think what happens is the spirit remains the same. It is whole, it's complete, it's big. And there is this wobble of sometimes you feel good, sometimes you feel love. Then it relapses and goes back into the human being's feelings and emotions of the human nature, which is getting offended, getting angry, which is normal. If somebody hates you or tells something wrong, you feel hurt. Then later it slowly started to become smaller and smaller, because what happened, I think, was the human part also, because there are good human beings without God or spirit or spirituality. There are a lot of good human beings on this earth. They're kind, they're loving, they have a good family, they help each other. So for me, the transition seemed, very intense, all the way from down low to, all the way coming to this side. So I think the human part also, it doesn't need to be destroyed, doesn't need to be killed. That's why I was not forced, but I was convinced to accept a family life, to accept certain things that I would have never wanted in my life, like having a child, for example. But God made me go through all that as a normal human being and rising the human being's nature to be at par with the spirit. Isn't it beautiful? Actually, if you look at it, it's beautiful. It seems like there's two people living, like I said before, inside of you. Because I told you there was some experiences that happened. My voice changed, started singing, we started saying these beautiful words, that would just spontaneously erupt because we were in a state of utter despair in personal life, and all we did was sit and pray, and we would get these songs and word, and it would empower us and it would help us the next, to take on the next day. And we watched this spirit just move through us, talk to us, and we didn't feel like it was us. And beautiful miracles and beautiful impossible, stories that happened during those times. And in that presence, you just fold your hands. It's so beautiful. And you started things, for example, like my voice started to change and I started to sing. I was into music before, but I wouldn't call myself a singer. I was an average singer. And I was more into playing percussion instruments. In a spiritual organization where they do chanting and sing the name of God, whatever. And then it became this, so all of a sudden it would just change into some other voice, and it would come out, and like I mentioned before, not in this talk but in some other experiences, when I heard that voice, I was touched. I heard the voice coming through me, to me. It was beautiful. And something so beautiful inside of me, side by side to this other human part which I felt was despicable and had low self-esteem, and I didn't like it that much to be with that. I just sunk into this sanctified silence. For 2 days I didn't talk, I couldn't sing, I couldn't talk. I was just thinking about, it was a big turning point. It was a big transforming moment for me. After that, I got attacked a lot with my voice. I had some infection in my lungs and I couldn't sing, and I had this cough chronically for 6 months, and it had to just pass its course, and the test was intense. So hopefully, it's come a long way and we're here. I'm talking about 10-15 years of this kind of experience going on and on and on. When it began, it was 2009. Now it's 2024. So you can imagine. How did it happen? Some might ask that question. How come you don't get angry about certain things that normally somebody would get angry, or even somebody who you know? How is it that thing is not happening anymore, right? Because it used to be bad. It used to be bad. The energies that were coming out because of, I'll be honest, like with my son, to correct him, to teach him. I mean, it was incredibly difficult. Because as a mother, you want to be good. It really transformed me. I'm really grateful for my son for that, first of all, to have given me the opportunity to be a mother. And for a woman, it's today is a Women's Day. And I'm really happy that this blessing is coming, because it's beautiful. I guess it's radiating a certain kind of love and friendship to all the women out there, and sharing, even if I'm just sitting in my room and recording. It's hard, the fan is on. I don't know if it's disturbing, but it's okay. It's a spontaneous thing, There are no mistakes here. So, as a woman, to be a mother, that instinct just rises up. I want to be good, I want to do the right thing. And it's an experimental experience. But you get there. My son is 16 now. And how it's all gone by. 10 years back, I used to think, after 10 years, we're going to be in a different place. I'm thinking that now. Thoughts are powerful. You can have thoughts. And all these thoughts started to come up as a teaching and wisdom in the spirit, which actually became like a teacher to me. And these words are so beautiful, so we'll write it down. We have books. Not necessarily to, become famous or get money, of course. We would like it if this ministry becomes some kind of a source of income, but we've been managing. We left the world, I left my IT job, and I went full time into this because it was so attractive and so beautiful, and it was meaningful. And I'm hoping, that I'm right about this, that it's grown. Ministry has grown, and we've become the ministers of love that we intended initially. We had a lot of obstacles and not much support. So it's been a slow camel walk, but very profound. Absolute truth. There's no nonsense in this kind of talking and living and feeling. So as the spirit, I think the spirit was always there, but once it connected with the mind that started to think in the right way, then it started to just reveal itself. I wouldn't say the spirit was growing. The spirit's always the same. It's the same size. It just revealed itself more and more and more and more. And the human part also started to cope with it, live with it, started being good. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? It's like you won't do certain things if somebody was in the room, right? So you're never alone. You felt like you're not alone. It's like if your body is a house, it was like building a new home within. And that's actually my website name also. Which again, all these things came in spurts and in the spaces that he created around all the, the karmic, intense karmic, burning in the normal human life, the worldly life. Little things like schooling, this and that, and daily living was, hell, and things like that. Normal things that people are always struggling to adapt. and create in their life. Understand? So yes, it was like a teacher. That was when I started to listen, and all that anger and pain and all that was actually formed as a rebellion. And then there was fear. I wrote down the other day, fear is a cover story for rebellion. So then you have fear. It's nested, it's complicated, it's complex. But all that started to change or transform, I guess, as the thoughts pattern started to change. There was no spontaneous eruption of, reaction because of the abuse around me. And more and more and more love started to fill my heart. I started to watch this change. It's a slow process. It's excruciating, but you would just wish it would change overnight, and you just wake up a good person and everything is gone. No, but it's a process. It's a big process, and it is an accumulation of a progress of this work within, of eliminating and accumulating. Eliminating what you don't want, what's not good, what you don't like. Eliminate all that you have accumulated, and then start accumulating new things. Start finding new good things in the world, which he shows to you actually. For example, even today, it's a holiday, it's some good day, everybody's celebrating, and we are crunched up with money, and so we're on a budget, and you have to do all this juggling, and it's a different kind of penance or enlightenment, I guess, compared to when you just go to a forest and see, because you're eliminating the human life completely. But here, the human life was not eliminated at all. It was just going on in the background and improving, becoming better and better because of this other thing that was also happening. Get it? And I got the most scrumptious meal. Like, I can't get over it. It was so good. It was some kind of a meal that people prepare to break their fast. I didn't necessarily fast, but I didn't eat for a long time the previous day, and it was just absolutely delicious. That was a blessing in the day. It might sound silly, but like I said, long story short, what we've gone through, we have started to be grateful for every little thing that's happening in our lives. Even the smallest thing. No exaggeration, no kidding. It's a big feeling. And certain people who have the eyes, they see the transformation. They don't feel threatened by me. And all my relationships are now, it's minimum. I don't have much contact. Because it's like coming out of a hospital. It's like getting released. So it takes time to recover. It's a big change. I think that's what's called transformation. When you don't do things that you used to do, you don't feel like doing things that you know is wrong, but you still do it, right? Your offense and my offense and my pain is important, and we expect everybody to understand it. Let me tell you, everybody's mind is big and vast, and they have a kingdom of their own, and they have their own relationship going on with God. Understand that, right? When we understand that, Then we have compassion and kindness. If they're not capable of doing something that you wish or expect them to do, it's always within you. You have to turn the direction towards you, inside of us, and to see what we can do. I've done it. I think anybody can do it. I used to tell my son, my love is greater than your rebellion. It's true. And it became bigger and greater. And then slowly the conflicts and the little wars, the energetic, extreme exchanges of disturbing patterns of dysfunction that happens in a relationship. It did change. It has changed. And space makes a big difference in that we all need to give each other more space to let them do their work on their own, instead of stepping over each other. Because one has a body, it's matter, and it occupies a certain amount of space in the space. Get it? Just like a table in a room. It occupies a small amount of space, limited to its form, in the all around space. Imagine the all around space is God. And your body is also matter. It's just like anything else. Man is not anything different. Body is also made of mud, There's nothing that is so great about the body. It's a very simple thing, and then we make it into a very, very big thing. The simple concept of dressing good, covering ourselves with dignity, and using it as a vehicle to play our role in our lives. That's it. And the body occupies this space, So when you, after doing all the work, we fast forward to the end. The spirit is there, you recognize it, you keep talking to it, you have a relationship with it, it keeps becoming bigger and better and different. And the human part also rises up to be like friends. That's what I think it means to be self-realized, or to understand that you have a spirit of God within you. And then you want to be a good human being. You want to be kind, you want to help. You don't want to be deceived. You have to know, you can be aware. You have all this wisdom and knowledge sitting in your head. And you can face anything. There is no random eruption of reaction which may harm somebody, especially our own self. So you radiate a presence of yourself in the space. When you realize you're one with this, when you're one with the space, then you're moving around freely, and your heart's full of light and love. Your mind is at peace. It's beautiful, isn't it? These words. I was praying today, Lord, fill the space with the sound of your presence, and fill our hearts with the light of love. It's not crazy. You need these things nowadays too. If you really mean it, that you have a problem and you want to get over it, or you want to move on and move higher, and these are new techniques and new teachings, a new way We are transitioning. What else could be the new age or the golden age? It's within everybody. They have to feel it. They have to feel that change, isn't it? No fear, full of love, even though all the other things are still happening all around. You're not affected by it, you're not in it, you're completely separate from it. You're creating your own new world where you can live in peace and joy. Hopefully, we'll have a whole family, other people will join. But today's topic was focused on understanding the self, what's happening within, in the spirit, what's happening to the human part. Mostly the human part, I think, is dominated by the mind and its thoughts and all these memories of the past that we've lived in that life which we didn't like that much. It's a choice to make. You can do it. Little things matter. No matter how spiritual you are, how many temples you're going, if your house is unclean or you can't cook with a peaceful mind, I don't think we're there yet, isn't it? So that's what the balance is about. I think I'm still working on it. I'm not perfect, but that's the goal. That's why I called it a new home within. Each person has to silently do this work inside. Today, if you reacted a certain way with your mother or father or brother or sister, tomorrow change it. Watch, miracles can happen. It is so inspiring. It's an energy to energy combat, The human being is working together, and you become one with that spirit. Now the spirit and matter is one. You feel all that much more powerful. You feel confident. You feel you can carry yourself excuse me way better in the space that you're going to occupy excuse me, at home or with other people. Okay, we'll stop here. God bless you. The inner voice manifests as a sound that is audible and evident, through the thoughts that are formed in the mind because of the emotions that rise up through experiences in life. Things happen to us and we feel a certain way. When we feel a certain way, there are thoughts, and thoughts manifest the sound as means of communication, using the voice that the body carries as a medium to transmit those thoughts as a sound through a word or a song or just normal conversations. You with me? one may or may not be aware of this part of the self, which is pure consciousness. It knows. It is. When the noise is cleared, clutter is lifted, there is a space of silence, and one hears it. It takes time and effort to be able to hear it within. It comes through and to oneself. Mostly when one is cornered in a place and space of solitude or seclusion. Make best use of that time if you're alone with yourself. At times one feels that, where is this sound coming from? Where are these words coming from? It's not me. But through continuous effort and being with it and riding with it, you become that inner voice. Become that voice. And one may or may not choose to let it out, use it as it rises up naturally and lets it out organically. What I'm talking about is sometimes a word or message comes when you encounter another person that stimulates it by asking a question or seeking comfort in some way, and feels good and hears what they need to hear. And one may hear it anywhere and everywhere through anyone. So one needs to be cautious and careful, because the mind tends to get attached to that person's mind which spoke those words that you need to hear, and also tend to fall in love with the body or the person that is transmitting those messages from their mind. It's important not to get confused. Yes, you may hear something that you need to hear if you are in the path of that search. Show me a sign, right? Give me an answer. And one needs to be quite detached from that, because it can suck you in and distract you from making the right choices in life because of that, or make one be away from the right path, the righteous path of what needs to be done in their lives. Understand, when you hear someone say something, or while you have a conversation with someone, you hear words from those people. I've had many experiences, and you're amazed by that spirit. That consciousness is in everyone, whether we accept it or not, whether we know it or not. So, but when it's coming through a person that, say for example, we hate, or we're not getting along, or we don't have a proper relationship, then what do? Do you disregard it, deny it, because it came from a person you don't like, or they don't exhibit nature of that kind of a high consciousness? No. When you're in tune with God, and when you're choosing love and you're praying, God can talk to you through anyone, through any animal, bird, flowers, anything that He has installed Himself in creation. Get it? So when you need it the most, when that intervention is important and needed, He will rise up. It will rise up. It's not a forced thing. You're going to sit for 1 hour and you're going to get enlightenment. So one needs to be very careful not to be confused with the person that God can choose at that moment, whatever is available, to lend you a hand, to give you a word. Sometimes, I don't know if anyone's had this experience. Sometimes you hear something you need to hear from someone, and after that they forget about it. They don't even remember that they said it. But one needs to join the dots together about these words and these things that pierces through impossible spaces and challenging situations, and gives you the guidance, rises you up in confidence and faith to move on, to keep going. One needs to connect these dots honestly, without being attached to the person or the mind that it came from, the source. And that implies to oneself too. If we are chosen by God to say something or do something for someone when they are in need, we don't fall for their amusement or attraction to you when you do it, because they are beautiful. When you're saying beautiful, when you're thinking beautiful, when you're doing beautiful, it's attractive, and people tend to latch on to that, to the physical form, or what seems very real. But the calling is to connect beyond all these realms. That's what consciousness is. It exists as thought form or an energy that radiates through the person carrying it gracefully, and radiates the presence of an absolutely beautiful, pure form of love. So, one can choose to be in that space all the time, being ready for it to show up anywhere, anytime, through anyone, including yourself. When one does the work to connect with oneself, with that voice, you're connected in the all around with that voice, same voice everywhere. So many times I just walk and I hear certain things that is so in tune with what I'm thinking or experiencing. Have you ever experienced that? You have hyper awareness of sound. That's why even noise and disturbance becomes amplified. But if one keeps focusing and keep going in this path, the noise and becomes like a white noise in the background, fades away. And this voice or a sign from, say, somebody wearing a t-shirt even, or words that just pops up, zooms and pops up, and it attracts the attention of your eye to see it and read it, and smile, because it goes along with what you're going through in your life or in the continuing relationship with the work, with God, with yourself. Be in touch. It's more mandatory and required now than it just being necessary to be able to walk in that narrow path without falling into the river full of crocodiles and whatnot. Be careful. Be very careful. Sometimes it's okay and important to just be quiet. One can hear that sound in the space of silence. What it comes to do depends on the situation and where you are at. Right now I'm just at home and I'm just recording it. Could happen anywhere with anyone while one carries out their activities during the day or night. It has an intention, it will come, it will do, and it will stop. It's a no nonsense voice. And it's very, very beautiful. Get in touch with it. Pull yourselves up to use it or give in to it. Ride along. That's what that feeling of oneness is. like a friend to you and to anyone who needs it. Be bold and strong to know that truth within, to see it, to feel it, to know it, and to be it.